All right, everybody ready?
Yeah, could you just start off by saying and spelling your first and last name and your position?
I'm Director Ron Lenvay. It's Lendvay. I'm the Director of Investigations and Homeland Security.
Thank you. Can you tell us what happened?
Yeah, police got a call out here at 6:07 p.m. at the Little Albert food store here across from my right shoulder of a shooting. A short time later, a duplicate call came in from the fire station, number 18 at Myrtle and Moncrief, just down the road. That call contained detail of multiple people shot in a car. At that location at the fire station, we had an adult male, an adult female, and an infant who were transported to UF Health. There was an additional adult female in that car who was not transported. She was pronounced deceased at that scene. Subsequent to getting to the hospital, that infant and an adult female were additionally pronounced deceased at the hospital. An additional adult female showed up at the hospital with a potential gunshot wound who may also be related to this incident here. We're in the very preliminary stages of the investigation. As you can see, we got multiple investigations going on at different scenes. We're interviewing witnesses, doing canvasses, and making sure the scenes are appropriately processed. The preliminary information is this may be a dispute stemming from a disagreement between some females earlier today, but that's about as detailed as I'm able to get at this point in time. Anyone who was here and involved or witnessed this, or who was also a victim or a witness to it, we'd encourage them to call the JSO homicide unit at 630-0500 or Crime Stoppers as well. And I'll take a few questions and answer what I can, even though we're in early stages. Okay, confirmed. We have 3 fatalities. That's 2 adult females and an infant, and 2 additional individuals that are shot and being treated at the hospital. That's an adult male and an adult female. Now, the possibility exists that there could be somebody else who was involved and injured in this that hasn't made it to a hospital yet that we haven't been able to connect. So these preliminary findings and information are subject to change.
You've got all these police markers, all these markers out there. Mm-hmm. How many shots fired do you think they were fired from multiple vehicles? I mean, how many suspects do you...
We know we have at least one shooter, but we're investigating the possibility that there is more than one, and they may have been opposing or they may have been together. So we're not going to, we're going to let the evidence lead us to a conclusion. We're not going to draw any inferences from any of that at this point in time.
What kind of weapons?
I heard your questions related to the ages. We're still working on identities, so I don't want to give ages. It's just a little too early for that yet.
What kind of weapons?
The information we have at this point in time is a handgun.
Are we thinking all of the shooting happened here?
At this point in time, that's the information that we have.
And we don't know what the argument was over.
No, we're interviewing witnesses now, trying to sort all that out. But the argument happened somewhere in this general vicinity. It ended in the altercation that took place over here, which ended in gunfire. Some of those victims then loaded into the car and drove over to the fire station that I talked about at Myrtle and Moncrief, where they were treated by paramedics, and some were transported. And unfortunately, one was deceased there at the scene.
To your knowledge, where's the nearest surveillance camera?
I'm not sure, and I wouldn't really want to get into that. That's an investigative detail at this point.
But nothing took place in the complex itself.
I'm not saying that it did or did not. We're still working our way through witness statements, and that information is all preliminary at this point in time. I can't confirm one way or the other.
Are we aware of any of the relationships among all the people in the car, the infant, the woman?
Those are all being determined by the investigators who are doing the interviews, but I can't confirm any of that at this point.
That's heartbreaking to know that an infant was shot and killed.
Yeah, it's a sad day for Jacksonville. It's a sad day for everybody who lives in this area, and it's a sad day for those that are out here investigating this terrible crime.
So just making sure I've got the locations correct. One female was deceased at this location. The female and the infant were found deceased at the other location.
Nobody was found deceased here.
Okay.
So there was the report of gunshots here as police were responding. The individuals that were shot all got into a car and ended up driving themselves. There was a driver that took everybody to the fire station in Myrtle and Moncrief, where they received preliminary care, and some were transported from that location. And then one person was deceased in the car at that location.
And then someone else showed up at the hospital separate from that, right?
That's correct.
Okay.
But confirmed deaths once again?
3, sir.
And 5 total, 5 people?
Mm-hmm. Three confirmed shot and dead, and two confirmed shot at this point in time.
Their conditions, the 2 other people?
I don't have that information. They're still being treated.
And no preliminary, no suspect description, no car.
It's too early when you have, the witnesses that we have when you're trying to put this together. The information sometimes conflicts in the early stages, so we're not at a point where we can actually release anything yet because we want to make sure it's right before we put it out.
Do we know if there were multiple shooters?
We're investigating the possibility. We just know of one for sure.
The driver, was that person shot?
I don't have that information either. I don't know if the person who was driving was shot.
All right.
Okay.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
Greg.
Thanks, y'all.
Thank you.